How we had spotted the suspicious vehicle, pursued it, witnessed the crash, ran after the driver, but lost him when he simply vanished right in front of us, only to find him a few minutes later behind the wheel of his car, his life crushed out. The supervisor was an older and wiser man, especially wise in the ways of the department and how other cops think. He told us to write our reports, but leave out all references to us pursuing the dead man on foot. In short, don't say anything about chasing the spirit, or whatever it was. David Ragland and I are both retired now and still friends. He is a very religious and church-going man, and while we have occasionally talked about that evening, he still has no opinion on what we saw, nor do I. Both of us have discussed it with his minister, but no explanation has come forth from him either. That is, no explanation other than we saw and chased the actual spirit of the deceased driver still fleeing from the police. That's an interesting story. That one gets me. I've read that a few times now because I've had this book for a while, but every time I read that, it catches me off guard. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? I'm like, oh, wow. Can you imagine that? Like your first moments in the afterlife, you just get like catapulted out and you're, oh, cops, the cops, and you run from the cops still.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you like, hopefully run into the light and you're like, what the heck?
That's not the light. That's a tunnel. Yeah. It's a nuts story.
Yeah, that's
I thought it was going a different way at first. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like a
miracle, like he survived or something.
Yeah, because I've seen something kind of like that.
Yeah.
In a high-speed chase that used to be on TV all the time in California. And I remember watching one, and I was standing in a donut shop, and this high-speed chase is going on between the cops and like a Corvette on the highway to Vegas. So it was like 130 mile per hour speeds.
Yeah.
And somehow it lost control, clipped the back of a semi, and it just started like losing control. And you see like the door pop open on the Corvette and the guy come flying out, sliding on his knees. The Corvette just gets, flies off and just gets thrashed. And the cops are just getting out of the car like stunned to see this guy on his hands and knees alive still.
Yeah, I'd imagine his knees would be pretty torn up from something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And
is that like just adrenaline at that point?
I think he was just lucky, and it happened so quick, and he was so lucky he didn't realize, like he probably thought he was dying.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's sliding. His brain probably wasn't even there yet, like shocked maybe.
Yeah. Took a while to catch up.
Yeah. Like this spirit who was so shocked that they didn't realize they were dead and were still running from the cops.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we talked about in a previous episode. Like, if it's a really traumatic death.
Yeah, like you're stuck in that, like, until you can get past it, or if you're like a tortured soul.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Unfortunately, we'll never know the answer to like half this stuff. We can theorize about it till the cows come home, but...
I'd like to say, if we go back to one of our recent Halloween episodes, and my get-up, he was pruned. The guy was pruned.
If anyone out there is wondering, Christian is referencing Loki and Disney Plus yet again for the pod.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan.
Easter egg. Easter eggs.
Apparently a very big fan.
Wee bit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Heather, do you want to?
All right. Yeah. I mean,
this one's a little less dramatic, but.
All right.
It's a palate cleanser, if you will.